Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever and whenever you are. My name is Benjamin and welcome to another GameMaker tutorial. Now this is part 4 to the random level generation series, and I'm going to show you just real quick. I've got my example file here so you can see what you're going to be making. I've turned off the view just so you can see the entire level, but our tiling system will automatically tile on all of these levels. And it creates a nice effect. The character looks kind of like 2.5D, I guess. So that's what we're going to be doing. This is going to be a longer video, slightly longer, because the tiling system is just a lot of checks. There are so many checks, but you only run through it in the create event, which is nice because then you don't have to worry about a million if statements throughout your game. Just that initial create event, people won't even notice. So it's quite optimized. I do want to mention real fast that the PDF version of my GameMaker book is on sale right now for 50% off. So be sure and check that out. You can go to my website and just click on the book and it'll take you to the book, and it's on sale right there. And also you can check out my Udemy course as well if that's interesting to you. It's 50% off as well. They're both 50% off, so that's pretty cool. And then I also wanted to say that any of you who have been wanting to get a hard copy of my book, I'm kind of taking secret orders right now. So if you send me an email at heartbeast.studios@gmail.com, you can find the link on my about page or whatever. Maybe I'll post it in the comments too, in the description. If you email me, I can get you a link where you can actually purchase the physical hard copy, which is the same one that the Kickstarter backers got and received, except it won't have my signature. That will be the only difference. It's not signed, but it will be the same one. So if you're interested in that, shoot me an email. But let's get started. Enough of my marketing plugs. Let's get right into it. Let's open up. Let's see. First thing we'll do is actually change the player. So open up your sprites, go into your player sprite. We're going to edit the sprite, and I'm just going to make it look kind of 3D so the player's not just flat anymore. So we're going to do transform, stretch, and we're going to stretch to a height of 24. We don't want to keep the aspect ratio because we still want a 16 width. I'm going to do poor quality. Doesn't really matter. And I'm going to get a lighter color for this. And I'm going to hue shift slightly into the reds just because it'll look cool to do that. I'm going to draw this basically halfway down like that. Just going to make our character look kind of 3D. And instead of a centered origin, I'm going to do X on the Y and, what is it, 16? Yeah, 16 on X, sorry, 8 on the X, 16 on the Y. There we go. Now the hard part. Now I'm going to do something that I don't normally do. I'm going to give you guys the code that I'm going to type right now. And the reason is because it's just a million little teeny details that you need to get right. And if you want to follow along, that's fine. But I'm also going to give you guys access to the code so that you can just basically copy and paste it into your game and get the tiling working. But before you do that, before you just grab the code and paste it into your game, let me at least explain a little bit of it to you, a little bit of the process that I go through for this, because I want to teach you as well. My main worry with giving out code is that people will just copy it all in and never learn anything. And and then a lot of the time they'll make, cut and paste games and then get errors and ask me for help on them. So we're going to come into here. We're going to take out the part where we draw the walls. We'll draw the floor tile still, but we're going to take out the part where we draw the wall tiles. Now we need to draw the actual tiles, and we're going to need, so our tiles are the tile set that we created in the last video right here. is these tiles are 16 by 16, but our DS grid has cells with the 32 by 32 width, or at least that's how we've set it up to be. We could technically give them any width. So we need to get our tile sizes because they're going to be half that. So I'm just going to do var tile width equals cell width divided by 2, which is just going to be 16. Var t height equals cell width. No, cell height divided by 2. And that's just so I don't have to type this a million times because I'm going to be using the tile width and height. Now we're going to add the tiles. This is quite a bit of code to write. Oh, and you'll see why it took me a few days. By the way, thanks for your patience while I got this sorted. You'll see why it took me a few days to get this done. So we need to loop through each section where we might have a tile. But the width and height of our grid is going to be at 32 width cells. So we need to do twice as many. So we're going to do for var yy equals 0. Yy is less than height, right, which is the height of our DS grid, or the height, how many cells are basically in our grid, times 2, because we're going to be doing 16 by 16 tiles, so we need to go basically for every single cell of our grid, we need to do it twice. Yy plus plus. Okay, add another for loop for var xx equals 0. Xx is less than width times 2, xx plus plus. And make sure that you do semicolons here instead of commas. I forget that quite often. Or it's a typo, I guess. I don't know what it is. Now, we only want to place place tiles around us if we're a floor in the grid. So we're going to do if grid xx div 2. Now, why are we doing xx div 2? Well, because this, remember, we're cycling through 16 by 16 instead of 32 by 32. But our grid has cells of 32 by 32. So we need to make sure we account for that and convert it back. So that's what we're doing right now. We're converting this number basically back to a grid number. A tile number back to a grid number. So xx div 2, yy div 2, and floor tile, right? Oops, we need equals equals. If we are a floor tile, then we're going to do something. That way, all of those void and solid tiles that are in the room, we're just going to ignore those. We don't need to worry about them. And there's going to be more of those than floor tiles, I think, in general. I'm not sure, but I think there are. So this is going to be slightly optimized, I guess. Actually, I kind of want the extra space down there. Okay. Now we need to do some other things, which is we need to get the tiles position in the actual room where we're going to be placing the tile. So get the tiles X and Y position. So we're going to do a little conversion here. Var tile X or TX is equal to XX times tile width. So we're just taking our for loop where we're looping through each section and we're getting the tile's actual X position in the room. Var tile Y equals YY times tile height, right? And we've created these tile width and tile height variables up here. Okay. Now, we need to get our checks, and there's going to be 8 different checks. There's going to be left, whichever, left, right, up, down, and then there's going to be like the corners. We're going to have to get the corners too. So we're going to call var right equals var left equals, var top equals var bottom equals, and then hit enter a couple times. We're going to do our corners. Var top right equals var top left equals var bottom right equals var bottom left. And make sure you don't have typos like I do. Okay. Now we're gonna do some more conversion, and this one's even trickier because we have to move over one tile before we convert. So we're gonna do grid. There's like no way to explain this. You just kind of have to figure it out. I'll do my best to explain it, but it's kind of complicated. XX plus 1 div 2. So we're using the div 2 to convert our number into a 32 by 32 size instead of a 16 by 16 size, right? But we have to add, because this is checking to the right, so we're checking 1 pixel to the right, but we have to do this before we convert because we're actually checking 1 16 by 16 cell to the right. So we're checking 1 16 by 16 cell to the right, and then we're converting that into a 32 by 32 cell. If we convert first and then check 32, basically a 32 by 32 cell to the right, it's going to give us the wrong information. So we need to move before we convert, I guess. Okay. Now we're going to do YY div 2. And we don't have to add to that one, so we can just do this first. And you have to have the parentheses because of the div operator. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm like 99% sure that it will do this it will do the conversion before adding. It will call the div operator on the 1 if you don't put the parentheses here. Then we're going to do not equal to a floor. So basically we're checking for walls or void. If there's wall or a void there, then right will be equal to true. Good job. Now copy and paste this down onto all of these. Or you'll probably just wait and copy and paste the entire code in from the whole get the tile sizes down. But just in case you're following along, you're really dedicated, copy all those down. So now left is just going to be -1 here. Top, we're going to take out the parentheses and the 1 right here. Make sure whenever you make a change that there's no red here. And then we're going to do it to the Y. YY -1. Okay. Now we need to do bottom YY plus 1. And there you go. We've got top left. Yeah. Anyways, now for top right, we've already got the right part. Let's just get the top part. So come copy this YY -1 into this YY. And top, we've already got well, we don't have top left yet, but we'll copy the top part and we'll change this to a negative to get the left part. Now we're going to copy this down and copy this down into the right and left. So bottom right is XX plus 1, YY plus 1. And bottom left is XX -1, YY plus 1. Yeah. Okay, so now we have all of the checks that we need. Now I'm going to show you a simplified version of this tile set that doesn't work. So we're going to do a check. We're going to do if right, if left. We're just going to do right and left checks for now for our tiles. And this is going to be broken, but that's okay. We're going to, so if we're a floor tile and there's not a floor tile to the right of us, that means there's either a void or a wall. We need to create a tile over there, right? And we need to create the correct tile. So if right, tile, add. Now we're going to use background what do I call it? Wall tiles. Wall tiles. Okay. So tile add takes some interesting arguments, and I'll step you through them. The first one's the tile set we're going to use. The next one is left and top. Now, this is basically which tile in the tile set. So you can see here, here's our tile set. It's kind of hard to see. We need, man, I need to zoom in so you guys can see this. We need this tile right here. Right here, this one. Okay? This tile is going to be, we need to get its position. So it's going to be left. It's going to be 0, 1, 2. This is going to be 2 to the left. And from the top, it's going to be 0, 1. So it's 2 to the left and 1 from the top. So that's what we're going to pass into our... Is that the right tile we need? That's not the right tile. I'm sorry. This is why this is complicated. We actually need this tile. Right here. This wall. Because we're going to be placing that wall to the right of us. And this one is 0 to the left and 1 from the top. So, or 0 from the left and 1 from the top. So left, we're going to do tile width times 0, because we're 0 from the left. And then for top, we're going to do tile height times 1, because we're 1 from the top. And that should give us the correct tile we need. Now for the width, we're just going to do tile width. Height is tile height. Now the X position, this is where we're actually going to put the tile in the room. So we want to do tile X, because we already got that right here. And then for the Y, we're just going to do tile Y. Tile Y. And then for the depth, we're going to do tile Y, let's see, negative tile Y minus 1. And that's just what I found works good for me for the depth, getting the depth to look right. Now we're going to copy this tile right here, this tile add, and put it down in our left spot. And the left one is actually going to be the one that I originally thought we were trying to get, which is 0, 1, 2 from the left and 0, 1 from the top. So we're going to do 2 from the left, 1 from the top. Now, the interesting thing is we're currently placing this tile exactly on the floor tile, and that's not where we want them. We want them over, like the right one needs to be 1 to the right, the left one needs to be 1 to the left. So for our position in the room, tile X, we want to add plus tile width to that, because that's going to put it over 1. And then for the position over here, for the left side that we're checking, we're going to do minus tile width, and that's going to be over 1 in the other direction. Okay, a lot of stuff going on. I know, this is a crazy one. That's why I'm giving you the code. Also, another thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go into your room settings, Windows, or global game settings, Windows, graphics, turn off interpolate colors between pixels, because it messes with the tiles. There we go. And look, you can see that it works. The walls for the left and right are already working. They're already auto-tiling. You can see we've got some... oh, that's from me doodling before. I was like, what is going on there? But you can see I added that into the room before. Let's get rid of those. If you hold Control and right-click, you can delete them. Okay. Now, basically, this is, for my system for creating this, where I went from here, as I just started, after I got the left and right, I added top and bottom, then I started checking the corners, and I got all these cases in, and you'll see what that's going to look like here. I'm just going to program it. I'm going to step through it, and just do it right now. Do it all. I'll try and kind of explain the cases, but for the most part, what I came up with here was a lot of trial and error to get it to be in the right positions. Just a lot of debugging. So what I discovered is that inside of our right check, we actually have to have another check here as well, which is if bottom. Okay. Let's see, inside of our right tile we've got, and this one has an else, and then the else is where we actually just draw the normal right tile. Okay. There's actually an else if top, and then there's our normal else. Like that. So if bottom, then we're going to add a tile. I'm just going to copy this so I can have it ready. And this one is going to be 4 from the left and 1 from the top, plus 1. That all looks good. Actually, no, you don't have to have the -1 on the depth. At least I didn't have to in my last one. Okay, so then if we're on the top, we're going to do another check inside of here. If top right. There may be an easier way to do this. I don't know. This works though. So use it. Yeah, this is what just the right check looks like total. All these checks because you have to get all the corners. So if top right, then we're 4 here, 0 here. And then we are ty minus t height there. And then here we are ty minus t height as well. But we're taking out the tx plus ty on that one. And that one is also 3 and 0. And then this other tile add is 0, 1. Huh. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Only I copied my negative ones around here. Okay, I think the right tiles should be working now. So let's run the game. I'm going to save it. Run the game and check. So, yes, right tiles are now working. You can see that it's putting the correct tiles on the right walls now for both the top and bottom. So when we get to this corner, you can see it's putting a corner tile here. So that looks good. Let's do left now. Left is similar. We're going to do if bottom, else if top, else. Okay. And let's copy this. Inside of here, we're going to do 1 there. Inside of our top check, we're going to do if top left. Else. We're going to have 1 here, 1 in here, and 1 in here. Okay, the first one is going to be 3 and 1. The next one's going to be 3 and 0. The next one's going to be 4 and 0, 4 and 0. The next one is going to be 2 and 1, and then 2 and 1. Okay, that's good. Our numbers x minus width, x minus width, y minus height, minus ty, or t height. Sorry, that would be bad. This one doesn't minus the width, but this one does minus the height. And then the others are the same. Okay, I think we got the left one working. So you gotta do top and bottom, but they're actually easier than left and right. Yep. It may look weird, but it's actually working, and you'll see when we get the top and bottom on why it's actually working. Okay. Okay, now we have if left. Let's come down. If top, if bottom. Okay, scroll down. If not top right, else if not top left, these cases else. Okay, let's add that. We're going to add one tile in each of these three cases. And we have the same thing down here for the bottom one. Oops. Copy, paste, except these are all going to be bottom left and bottom right. And so top right is going to be 2, 0, 1, and then 2, 2, 2. Bottom is going to be 2, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0. And then for the TX over here, it's going to be TX the entire time. And the TX over here is just going to be TX as well. But the TY is going to be minus tile height on the top. And then the bottom is going to be plus tile height. So let's run it, see if it works. And then the very last thing I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to... Oh, the bottom one isn't placing in the correct spot. Yeah. Oh, we don't want to add to it. You just place it in the exact same spot that it is. You don't add the tile height to it. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Save here and run. I just know that people are going to try and follow this and just get one little teeny thing wrong, and it's going to mess up their tile system. 'Cause I do. There you go. And this case right here, this is the one that we also, one more thing. You can change the mask on your player sprite. Instead of being automatic, do manual, and then from the top, I would do 12. Yeah, 12 from the top. That means your collision box is only going to be that little black box instead of the whole thing. So it's going to make more sense when you're moving around in the room. It's going to feel like it's actually kind of 3D. And then obviously you're going to need to update the player's depth. So come into the step event, and then just down here do depth equals -y. So that will update the player's depth based on his Y position in the room, which will make him go in front of and behind the tiles correctly. There you go, you can see that. Interesting, except it doesn't work there. Depth. Because those tiles, their depth's right there. Huh. I must not have checked that in my other one. I thought I did. Let's fix it real fast. That's only for the bottom case. So we're just going to do minus tile width on those ones. For the bottom ones, so that going to work, or is that going to mess up my tiles in any place? Well, it worked. We got the depth right now. It doesn't look like it's messing up any of the tiles. Okay, so this is actually the case that I had to fix right here, which was a corner like this. Before that didn't work, and now it does. Looks nice and clean. Yeah, looks really cool. And there you have it. This big, long, giant piece of code. I mean, I'm just really basically checking if they're corners. I added in the right and left and top and bottom, just like I showed you at the start. And then I have these different checks for if they're corners or not. And then it places the corner tiles if it is a corner. So it's kind of complicated and it takes a while to do. So thanks for watching this video. Hopefully it was helpful to you. Be sure and grab the code. This code will only work if your tiles follow this pattern. It will only work if your tiles have this pattern right here. Obviously you can update the sprite to be any other type of sprite. It could look completely different. It could be dirt, it could be whatever, but it has to be in this same format with the inside corners right here and outside corners right there. So that's how it has to be. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure and like and favorite this video, and check out the link in the description if you need to download the code. And I'm putting obviously the links to the other videos if you want to go see part 1 and follow just the random level generation part. So I really appreciate you guys' support, and I will talk to you guys later.